Okay, this is going to be our first live draft after the crazy Week 16 we just saw, where a lot of teams like the Rams moved down, the Broncos are moving down, the Packers continue to move down, and a lot of people's rankings in playoff best ball. And if you don't know me, my name is Ryan. My main channel is on Fantasy Football Roundup, where I have about 26,000 subscribers, and I won $3,500 on playoff best ball last year, which is better than most. So we're gonna go through some strategy today on a playoff best ball draft. But if you do appreciate watching these videos, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to show your support. And we will just go ahead and kind of talk through some things on how to best fill up your playoff best ball roster. Because as you're going to see, it's different, right? So like if you usually play normal best ball, your normal best ball roster is like 18 rounds deep, right? So your draft is just much, much bigger in those regular best ball drafts. In playoff best ball, it's different. Like you do not have the same level of depth in these drafts as you do in regular best ball. So you have to be strategic on who you're drafting. And as you can see, there's only 6 total teams in one pool. And the good thing about playoff best ball on Underdog in particular, which is where I play, is that you have the basically access to advance in 1 out of 3 of your leagues, right? Like you have 2 teams out of the 6, they make the playoffs. So you have much better odds in your favor in advancing in playoff best ball than you do with regular fantasy football best ball. So I'm a big proponent for playoff best ball. You just need to be smart and strategic. So what we're going to do today, as we see, we got the 102. Depending on whether Puka or Josh Allen falls to me, I'll pick either one of them. The idea here is that you want to make sure you're grabbing the teams you most likely think will make it to the Super Bowl, because playoff best ball, as you go through the rounds of elimination, right? If I've got 3 players on the Chargers, for example, and they get knocked out of the first round by the Steelers or knocked out in the second round, well, they're going to stick on my roster, but they won't be able to score for me. So the goal here is to get some filler players in those early rounds, then, target some guys you ultimately think are going to win the Super Bowl. And I would say that depending on how this goes, I might be Bills heavy in this one. But, if you're going to do your own draft, I would be utilizing the playoff picture pretty heavily. That's one thing I would be doing. So we're going to go ahead and grab Puka since JSN went off the board in the first slot. So we ended up with Puka Nacua in round 1. And ideally, we would love to target the Matt Stafford stack here in my next pick, but we will see if I have access to him or not. So yeah, I think the underlying goal here is if you are in a playoff best ball draft, what you should be doing is utilizing the playoff picture, right? Because like the Rams, for example, yeah, they're the number 5 seed right now. But I think if the Seahawks and them were to play again, which in all likelihood I would imagine they will, then I would take the Rams in a toss-up. I mean, that both those games were really close this year. They were coin flip games. So ultimately, I think the Rams are in just as good as a position to move forward. And the good thing about the Rams might be that they play in the wild card. So you don't have to worry about drafting other filler players because the Rams might not be the number 1 seed. So that might be going over some people's heads. I'll kind of try to explain more of that as we get deeper into the draft. But yeah, I'm going to be targeting the Matt Stafford stack here. And if Kyron is available with the 3rd pick, I'm probably going to target him. I doubt he's going to be available, though. Stafford has a real shot of getting back to me, though, so we'll see what happens here. I would also say Devontae Adams would be a target for me as well, but again, I don't think he's going to make it back to me. Surprised McCaffrey went off the board that late. 49ers are guaranteed a playoff spot, and we're filming this before the Monday night game, the 49ers and the Colts, and even before then, the 49ers have locked up a playoff spot, so I would imagine that they're going to get in the playoffs here. So we're getting access to Stafford, which is great. Hopefully Devontae will fall. I do not think he will. If he doesn't fall, I'll either be targeting Nico Collins to go with some AFC, or RJ Harvey, or even Travis Etienne. So we'll start to get some AFC on the board because we've got 2 Rams to start it out with, which I'm pretty happy with. So Nico goes off the board, and we'll see if Devontae does too. I feel like my chances, pretty good. I'm going to start out with 3 Rams. I don't think I've created this stack yet, actually. Right now, through 3 rounds, I've got the Puka, Matt Stafford, and Devontae Adams stack. That could be lethal if the Rams make it to the Super Bowl. That stack could be fantastic, assuming that Devontae Adams gets back from the injury. That could be a very lethal stack right here in best ball playoffs. So we'll see how that one shakes out. But now I definitely need to start targeting some AFC teams. Khalil Shakir would be on my list of targets. I would say Cortland Sutton would be on my list of targets. I'll probably let Dalton Kincaid drop a little bit just because he had a goose egg in Week 16. So I probably wouldn't draft him. Diggs, I guess I would draft Stephon Diggs. I'm not a huge Patriots believer in the playoffs. So that's good because Stephon Diggs went off the board. Jacoby Myers, also another good one. Amarian Hampton is another name that I like to target as well. But if Sutton makes it back to me, I will definitely be drafting Cortland Sutton. So I've got 1 pick away. So Jacoby Myers goes. I've got to get Sutton here. I do like the Broncos still personally. I personally think that the Broncos are going to be just fine and have a chance to win at least 1 playoff game. It's really, really hard to go into Denver and beat them. And the Jags just show that they're a legit team. So I don't hold it as much against the Broncos losing that game as I do against, just the Jags being a really good team. So I don't really get worried about that one as much. Do I want to grab Blake Corum? Probably not. I've already got 3 Rams. Hampton is definitely first on my board. Let's see. I'm going to grab Hampton. So essentially what I was trying to do is I was trying to see how long it was going to be before another Denver player goes off the board, and it'll probably make it back to me with Troy Franklin. Swift, I'm good with starring as well. Lad McConkey, I'm good with starring him too. But as you can kind of see here, what I'm trying to do essentially is I'm trying to stack up some AFC teams as well. And right now, I'm kind of leaning towards stacking a couple more Broncos players in hopes for a Rams and Broncos Super Bowl. But we will see what happens here. Bo Nix went off the board. So really, probably going to draft 1 more quarterback just to kind of get that position with 2. I usually like to have 2 quarterbacks in playoff best ball. So we'll see. I think my picks are going to work out here. Troy Franklin is going to be one of my picks. So I'm going to come away with Franklin. And it might be... that's tough. I'm debating between Ladd and Swift right now. I think they're both good players. I have 3 more rounds to go after this, 8, 9, and 10. So I need to get 1 more Rams player, another quarterback. And I think I'm going to go ahead and... Is Caleb still on the board? Caleb is on the board. So I'm going to try to see if I can stack Swift with Caleb. It's a little risky. I may be better off just going with... May have just been better off going with the Ladd and Herbert stack, but I'm going to try my luck at the Caleb and Swift stack. Not that they're like a stack for receivers, but I just want to have 2 of one team. So that could be a little risky. It could bite me. We'll see what happens over these next couple picks. So I'm definitely going to try to target 1 more Rams player. So I'm going to go ahead and search up the Rams. I'm going to start Colby Parkinson, Terrence Ferguson, Tyler Higbee, and Tutu Atwell just to give myself some diversity here if they go. I'm going to try to target 1 more Broncos player too. So I might go ahead and pick Marvin because Pat Bryant just went down with a pretty brutal concussion. I don't know how much time he's going to miss. He'd probably be back for the playoffs, though. I'll star him. So hopefully Caleb makes it back to me here. That's what I'm banking on. Okay. One more pick. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Caleb and just worry about running backs and wide receivers moving forward. So we've got in total 3 Rams. We've got Stafford, Puka, and Devontae. Could be very lethal. We've got 1 Charger, 2 Bears, and 2 Broncos as of right now. Do I go with 3 Broncos and 3 Rams? That feels a little weird. It feels excessive. I don't know how I feel about having 3 Broncos. So I'm going to go ahead and end up picking someone else to just kind of fill in for a week. I'm going to pick Kayshon Boutte since I'm running out of time. Hopefully that wasn't a bad move because that New England wide receiver core is very difficult to know what's going on over there. So now we're going to see who falls to us from the Rams players. And that's basically the gist of what a playoff best ball draft is. So, if you didn't pay attention at the beginning, I spent $25 on that draft. It's $25 entry on Underdog. There is a link in the description to go utilize those Underdog drafts and to get into a draft yourself. You could use my code for, I think it's play $5, get $75 back. So there is a good deal on Underdog. They're always running good deals. It's kind of hard to keep track. But the prize breakdowns, man, they're fantastic. I mean, the $500,000 to first place, $250,000 to second place, $100,000 to third, $50K to fourth. And last year, like I said, I won $3,500 and I placed 82nd, if I remember correctly. You can go, I have a video. It's my first video ever on the channel. You can go vet where I placed because I posted screenshots and everything. But I love playoff best ball. It gives you something to look forward to in the playoffs, too, because you can kind of not worry about the stress of fantasy football as much, like setting lineups and everything like that, and just enjoy the games, and hopefully things work out in your favor. So I have the option. Do I want to go with Colby Parkinson here? I'll probably do it. Yeah, I'll go with Colby Parkinson here. So there's my team. So in total, I got 4 Rams. I got Puka Nacua, Matt Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Colby Parkinson. And I also got 2 Broncos with Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin. So in theory, if there was a Los Angeles Rams and Denver Super Bowl, this team would have a major shot of advancing. And if it did advance, it could do very well because you have 5 total players that will score for you. So it would be 1 quarterback, it would be at least 1 running back, and at least 2 wide receivers or tight ends. So that last flex spot is either going to be a running back or it will be a wide receiver. So the problem with this one, I'm just realizing now, is I do not have a running back on either Denver or Los Angeles. So still only 4 players. So you can see I'm not like the most I wouldn't say I'm the most seasoned playoff best ball drafter, but I'm still learning with you guys. So we're going to go ahead and do one more just to get kind of reiterate some points I was trying to make there. So we'll do one more and then we'll call it. But yeah, if you're appreciating the video, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for future content as well. I want to help as many people win money during these playoff best ball drafts because it's a lot of fun. Like I said, you get to enjoy playoff football, and you can have some interest in certain players doing well. It's like best ball, but you don't have the stress of worrying about matchups and lineups and all that stuff. So it's nice and it's fun to do. And like I said, you can win some serious money. I mean, this prize breakdown is pretty wild. And I know there's other platforms that do playoff best ball. I'm an underdog homer. Like, I love underdog. I think their user experience is the best. I think their prize breakdowns are up there with the best for sure, and if not the best. So I'm definitely an underdog guy. Like I said, there is a link in the description if you want to get in your own underdog playoff best ball draft. But yeah, I love playoff best ball. So we'll go through one more draft. Okay. So we're at the 102 again, so we'll either get Puka or Josh Allen. Unless JSN goes first again, which usually does not happen. That usually does not happen. I'll show you how many drafts I've done total, but it's been over 30 so far this season. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and snag Allen. So I'll show you how many drafts I've been in. 37. So this is my 38th draft. I did 2 middens, and I've done 35 of these big ones. So this is the 38th one. So my strategy on this one is going to be a little different since I didn't get Puka this time. I'm probably going to go Buffalo heavy and try to target, Khalil Shakir will probably be my top target because I'm not going to get James Cook. I already know that. Dalton Kincaid probably will be a target at some point. So I would say I might go Rams still, like a little bit of Rams, but we'll see what happens. Actively debating just going with Stafford in my second pick and just rounding off the quarterback position early. If they met in the Super Bowl, Buffalo versus Rams, and if I had both quarterbacks, because at this moment in time, it looks like both of them will be playing throughout the playoffs, and neither one of them will have a bye. So that's the other thing I was going to explain. Like, the importance of having players not in the first seed is huge because your first week of playoff best ball starts in the wild card week, which means that if you have 4 players on the Broncos who have a first-round bye, you have 4 players who will not be scoring for you that week. You can count on it. So you need to make sure you don't have too many first-round bye players. And I think if I went with Stafford here with Allen, I would have the best of both worlds because neither one of them in theory are going to have a bye week. I might do it. Staring it in the face. Do I do that or do I go with A.J. Brown? I don't think the Eagles... I think the Eagles could win one, but I don't think they're making it to the championship. I think I'm going to go with Stafford here. I'm going to go with Stafford, and then I'm just going to not worry about quarterbacks anymore. And we'll see how the draft falls to me. So in this playoff best ball team, I'm banking on a Bills and Rams Super Bowl. Because in theory, I would have both of their quarterbacks. And I'm going to take Shakir to make sure I grab a Bill. So I've got my first 3 picks unconventional, but I'm going Josh Allen, Matt Stafford as my first 2 picks, and I'm going to go with Khalil Shakir as my third. And again, this is all in the hopes that there's a Bills Super Bowl. I think my favorite teams, when we look at this bracket right here, so I think the way it'll go, the Patriots will be the number 2 seed. And they'll play the Texans. And I actually think the Texans are going to win. So then the Bills would go to Jacksonville to play the Jags. I think that's honestly a coin flip game. I'm going to side with Buffalo if I didn't have a coin to flip because of Josh Allen. And then we got the Chargers and Steelers. And as a Steelers fan, I think the Chargers will win that game because the Steelers suck in the playoffs. And then the Broncos, in theory, would go ahead and play the Texans. And I think the Texans could beat them. So I think what I'm trying to say is I like the Texans in playoff best ball too. Like, I think the Texans have a sneaky chance of making a run. So do not sleep on the Texans, man. They have a really good shot. Okay. Josh Jacobs keeps falling, and he's getting very tempting to take in these best ball drafts because we already know Green Bay is going to make it to the playoffs. There's no way they're losing both in the next two. So Sutton is also intriguing once again. It's intriguing to get Corum. I might try to see if I can do that with my 5th pick. Man, we got a lot of guys. So Sutton goes off the board. Bottom line is I want to make sure I get either a Rams or Bills running back. Because in this theory, if the Bills and the Rams were to play in the Super Bowl together, then I would have 5 players if I were to grab a couple more receivers. Man, Josh Jacobs falling like he is, it's just too intriguing. Even if they don't win a game, I think I could get one pop game out of Josh Jacobs, so I'm going to go Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, he's been falling in playoff best ball drafts. Like, he used to be he was like a 2nd round, 3rd round pick most of the time, and he's falling to the 4th, 5th round range these days. So it's really intriguing. I think I'm going to try to target, if Corum is available, I'll probably grab him. So Corum made it. So we're going to get Corum here. And here's what we look like right now. So we've got Josh Allen and Matt Stafford. I went a little unconventional here to round out my quarterbacks with what I believe is a Super Bowl potential matchup right there. Then we got a Bills receiver and a Rams running back. So that's 4 total players from the Bills and the Rams combined. But only 3 so far will be scoring for me because 2 quarterbacks won't score in the same week. So I still need to get at least 2 Bills/Rams receivers. So let's go ahead and start looking at some potentials. Ty Johnson is definitely a factor. I would say Dawson Knox is a factor as well. These are later round picks I can save though. I think I'm gonna probably go with Woody here. And going with Woody does feel a little risky. I tell you what, I think I'm going to go with Hampton again. Might try to target like Dalton Kincaid later on. But because I do want a Texan. Because I think the Texans really do have a shot. I could still wait on my Bills. I'm going to star a couple of these Rams players. Because I want to take one more of each of them. Man, Woody staring at me in the face. I'm not going to do it, though. I am going to go ahead and reach for Dalton Schultz. Just to make sure that I get him, because I really do like the opportunity there. So my receiving group is looking a little weak. That is my one concern with this. I might not go with 2. I might not go with 2 more Rams and Bills players. I might just go with 1 more. No, I have to do it because, yeah. I've got 1 combined score there for the Super Bowl. then 2, then 3. So I've got to pick 2 more. So I'm going to get Christian Watson is definitely going to be on the list. I may or may not end up doing it, but it's going to be a potential. I would say Mike Evans is tempting. I'm a little worried about that, though. Brenton Strange, I don't know. I'm going to buy myself some time and just pick up Ty Johnson really quick. So I've got 4 running backs in this one. It feels a little uncomfortable. So I'm going to look through what I can do here. I want to get one big player for a team I don't think will do that well. Is DJ Moore available? No, it doesn't look like it. Might get Rome. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and get Rome. So now I'm just going to end it off with my Rams player. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get 4 Bills. I think I'm going to go ahead and get a Ram. Tutu didn't do much in his first game back, which concerns me. I might grab Higbee this time. Because I got Colby Parkinson last time, so I might try to split the difference and get Tyler Higbee this time, who I do think will be back for the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab him. So I have 2 tight ends out of my receivers. I don't love that, but hopefully this one will work. So this one I got Josh Allen, Matt Stafford. Hopefully we'll get that Rams and Bills Super Bowl. Khalil Shakir to give me another Bill. So that would be 2 players in theory scoring for me if that Super Bowl happened. Josh Jacobs, Blake Corum, Amari, and Hampton as my running backs. And so we've got 4 players potentially, or 3 players rather, in the Rams and Bills matchup. Dalton Schultz, I like Houston this year. Ty Johnson is 4, and then Tyler Higbee is 5. And then I got Roma Dunze as well. So we just wanted to go through a couple best ball playoff drafts to show you guys what it's all about if you're not familiar with it. And if you are familiar with it, I really do think that the teams that are going to be big I think this year is so weird, man. Like, this feels like the first year in a long time. I was telling my wife this earlier today. It feels like the first year in a long time where I have genuinely no idea what's going to happen. Like, there is a major power realignment going on in the NFL without, teams like the Chiefs, the Ravens probably won't make it at this point. You've got teams like the Eagles who are definitely weaker. Like, the 49ers are weak. There's so many teams that have been historic powerhouses lately that haven't been that for a while. And so it really opens things up. Like, the Broncos, to me, are definitely a factor. I'm not a huge Patriots believer because I think they've got weaknesses on the offensive line and the defense, but we'll see. I mean, the Jags, man, the Jags are a real freaking team. They've been so historically dysfunctional that my trust is not there. I've got no The Steelers is like one of the few teams that I'm confident won't make it. So I wouldn't go super Steelers heavy. The Chargers, I don't think can make the Super Bowl because they've got too many offensive line issues that I think will expose them and really destroy them in the playoffs. The Bills always have a shot with Josh Allen. And the Texans, man, they are a really scary team to play, in my opinion. The Seahawks definitely have a chance because of the defense, and I would say that if they can minimize Darnold's mistakes, I think they have a shot. The Bears really have a shot to me too. Ben Johnson has been a major culture changer, and Caleb Williams looks like he's playing the best football of his life. So the Bears really do have a shot. I don't think it's the Eagles' year to make it to the Super Bowl. They could win a playoff game. I don't think they'll win 2. The Rams definitely could go on the run. I probably favor the Rams out of every team in the NFL right now. The Niners will get screwed because of their defense. They could win a playoff game potentially against the Eagles, but I doubt it. So the 49ers probably one and done to me as well. The Panthers or the Bucks, whoever wins that one is going to be one and done to me. That's like an easy pick. And the Packers, man, I'm not convinced the Packers will be one and done. I think they could win one, but they probably won't make it to the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl for that matter. So, yeah, we'll probably do some more streams on here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.